Good afternoon and welcome to today's Lonsec iRate webinar. My name is Tracy Barden and I am the Senior Client Relations and Training Consultant here at Lonsec. And today I'm going to take you through the equities module. Before we begin, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me once it's clear, and I'm just going to share my screen. So you should be able to see my screen now. I've just logged into iRate. So once you can hear me and see the screen, that's perfectly fine. If you do have any issues, please can you type me a message on the message panel, and I will get that sorted for you. Today is just a quick webinar, so we're just going to focus on the equities and listed income piece on the iRate website. So obviously it's tailored towards the stocks. So I'm just going to give it another minute to let everyone get a chance to log in and get settled before we go through today's equities webinar. So thank you. Okay, so if everyone is ready, we can start today's session. So when you log into iRate, the area we're going to be focusing on today is our equities piece here, and it all depends on your subscription level, whether you have access to this as well. So the equities research and the listed income is what we're going to cover off today. So if I come in here to equities research, so it just takes me through into this kind of a purple theme page on iRate. So the navigation is very similar. If you have the managed funds research with Lonsec, we've made it easier for you to navigate through the site. So we've made the pages look very similar, which just makes it easier for our clients, for easier navigation. Just quickly, some background on this. So the coverage we have for the equities research is the ASX 200, and just to give you some idea on our research methodology, which we also have on a separate page. But basically, Lonsec's approach to our equities research, so we've moved away from your traditional buy, sell, hold approach, and we focus more on classifying equities based on a relative risk-reward basis rather than an outright return potential. How we go about doing that then is our approach, so we use a combination of quantitative and qualitative analysis, and you will notice most of our reports, whether it's equities or managed funds, will be on an 80-20 overlay. So 80% will be qualitative, so with your comprehensive information, and 20% will be quantitative. So that's more of your stats, your charts, your graphs, more of your data. Some of the key questions we ask in relation to our equities is these three questions here. So what to buy? So this all depends on your rating, whether your stock is approved or not approved. And we can go through all that on the equities page. The next question then is, why should I buy it? So this depends then on your risk profile. So whether it's an income or growth stream. And the third question then is, when should I buy it? So this relates to your action signal. Undervalued or overvalued, and we've also brought out, since this piece actually, is Lonsec's fair value in relation to the action signal. And if you scroll through, and I'll show you where to find this research, you will be able to see our methodology and process as we work through this flow chart. So this is our ASX 200 universe. Obviously, when we scroll down through here with our quant models and all of our data, we determine whether the stock is an income or growth risk profile. From here, we go down to determine a rating, so whether the stock is improved or not approved. Obviously, your action signal is obviously your valuation is not provided on the not approved stocks, whereas on the approved, you have down here action signal, whether it's under, over, and here you have fairly valued. You also have a little definition on this methodology. If you see these icons on our research report, so you have this is your approved stock, and it just gives you some further conviction as to what it defines. So this rating indicates that Lonsec believes the stock is of investment grade quality, obviously not approved. We also have stock watch. So if it's been under review as well, which you'll also see, it's been monitored, and also if it's wound up, we may have ceased coverage on our stock as well. That's just a quick intro to, I guess, our research methodology, and that can be found on this tab here, which I'll show you in a moment. But if I come back here to the equities research, if you are searching, so there's a number of ways that you can search for different stocks. You could type in the company, so I could type in Rio Tinto, type in enter, or you can click the magnifying glass or the search, and this will bring up my stock. So I can see this is the ASX code, this is the company name, it falls under the sector materials, the rating is approved, it's attractive income, low growth, fairly valued, the last price, and this will all be as of close of business yesterday. Those prices are updated daily, your market cap, and so on. You will also notice that you have the quick link icon here for your stock viewpoint. So this is your 2-page research report, really great for clients, whether it's your client and advisors. If you click onto this, it will take you straight into the research report. So it's a 2-page report, the stock viewpoint. And again, if you're familiar with the managed funds, it's very much like our 1-page snapshot, the fund profile. So you have all of the key information about this stock. And you will also notice that we've included Lonsec's fair value in here as well. You have your income and growth profile, and we don't just give you this information without giving you some, I guess, comprehensive information with it as well. So you'll have about this stock, but you'll also have what the rating means, which is up here on the top right. You're approved, gives you a little bit of context about what the rating means. You have your income and growth profile, so these paragraphs relate to these charts. You can see this particular stock, well, it's sitting right on the cross of attractive income and low income, sitting more in attractive income. And the growth profile then, so it's sitting comfortably in low growth as well. And then you have your context here about income and growth profile. Again, the same with your action signal, so whether it's under, over, or fairly valued, we'll give you a note about Lonsec's action signal. Forecast returns, financial snapshot, share price performance, and I'll show you that this becomes quite dynamic if you download this on the screen. That's just giving you some share price performance from just prior to January 14. We also have a business snapshot, investment view, and really useful paragraph, last major event. So if any particular event has happened on this company, it will be reported on these reports. Page 2 then will give you your bull and bear points. So your positive and negative. Then you have your growth, income, financial strength, and valuation. So these are just some charts that fall under those headings as well for you. So a little bit of charts as well there, so you can see patterns on this particular stock. So it's really useful 2-page document and gives you clear and concise information on here. So that's your stock viewpoint. You can also, if you wanted to enter a number of different ASX codes, so if you had them on a Word document or on an Excel, and you can copy and paste in here. So if I do a couple of stocks, click on enter or search or the magnifying glass, and it will bring me up those 4 stocks that I want to research. So here I have BHP, CBA, Rio, and Wesfarmers. Gives me all of that information across the screen and all of the documents as we've just seen. What you can also do is, if you tend to research similar stocks, we say frequently, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, you could group together a top list of stocks, and you could store them if you're familiar with product groups. So you can select them by clicking on them here, or you can tick on this box. You also have, if there's multiple, more than 4, if it's going to take you a little bit of time, you can pick if I untick these, untick that one, and I can do select all, it will select all of these for me. Now you will notice not just search result is populated with 4. If I expand on selected, this is now sitting at the number 4. And the workbench, which is a site-wide tool throughout the iRate platform. Just click on this arrow, and you can see your equities tab has those 4 ticked as well. So what the workbench does is it allows you to transfer the data that you have ticked in here, whether it's funds, equities, or listed income, allows you to transfer them to different parts of the site once obviously you have the subscription level, in order to stop you, I suppose, tabbing back and forth through different pages. So I could send those equities to portfolio construction to create maybe an equities portfolio, or to add them to an existing, send them to quant to do some performance charting, so on. I can save a product group from here, but I'll show you another way as well. But if you get familiar with the workbench, you can still store these 4 stocks as a product group. Just saves you time having to, you no longer have to enter those codes then if you're researching those 4 stocks. And then you also can, as you can see, stock viewpoints, you can download the research reports in here. So it's a really good tool to get into the habit of using is the workbench. I am going to show you the first thing. If you want to store them, the easiest way I think is to click select all, and then come up here and click create product group. So I'm just going to say top for October 18. Okay, so just give it a relative name so that you can identify those stocks again. Click on create, gives me the green bar to say that's been created successfully. I can now clear all of these, clear all of this. I'm just going to click on this again just to refresh it, just so we can show the ASX 200. So obviously these are your universe. If you wanted to retrieve that information or maybe edit that group, you come up here to your username, come down to my product group. So this is where any product groups will be stored. So if I click load existing, so here I have my top 4 for October. Just click on the name. So here we have my 4 stocks. You have some settings over here. You can always share this group with someone else who has a login on your, if I click share, I can share that among my teams. They all have a login. I can make changes to this group. So if I push back these arrows, there's more behind here. I could add more products. So if I want to put in different shares in here, I think it's TLS. We want to add in Telstra. Okay, I now have 5 products. So I'm actually going to rename it as well. I'm going to call it top 5. Click save. So it's very easy, very intuitive, and very easy to navigate around. So I've now, my product group has been renamed. These are my 5 stocks. If you wanted to ever remove one, you have a little trash can icon here, a little bin that you can remove a stock. So what I'm going to do now is you can also export this if you want it externally in an email format to share this data if someone doesn't have a login. And you can also use the send to feature. So again, say it's like a mini workbench, so it can send this data back to well, it's not going to show in fund research, but back to equities research if I wanted. I'm showing you how to retrieve it by going to equities because I want to show you how to retrieve it from product group first, but that's just a feature you can use. So now I'm back to my universe of 200, and I want to retrieve that group that has 5 stocks because I want to download the research report. So I use my filters here on the left, again, the very same way as you would in managed funds, and I come down to product group. Click in here, and it will bring up this white box, and I have a list of stocks in here, and you can start with, I think it was top 5. So here we have, it's top 5, October 18. Click search, and it should give me my 5 stocks. So perfect, we now know that we've added Telstra in here as well. So if I wanted to download these research reports, I could click on them individually and download. However, a faster way you can do that is if you selected all of your stocks. Once you have selected anything in here and you have your selected populated, you can use these tabs across the top. So click on Stock Viewpoint. And as I mentioned earlier, when you download a Stock Viewpoint on screen, it becomes a little bit more dynamic. So it's the very same information, but one of the areas that really, I suppose, is more intuitive is if I go to share price performance, you'll notice that I can hover on a particular price historically, and you'll be able to see this is showing me the dates as at the price of this particular, so this is BHP. Okay, so it's really good in that sense. So when I have clicked on Stock Viewpoint, I have this option on the right to download the Stock Viewpoint. When I use this function, what it does is it's going to save you time is to download your Stock Viewpoints in bulk. So I had 5 two-page documents. So now you can see up here I have 1 of 10, and it has BHP, CBA, Rio, Wesfarmers, and Telstra. So these are all grouped together, all 5, and then you could simply either print or download. So again, by bulking those, that's going to save you a lot of time as well. So that's how you would do your Stock Viewpoint. Another area I'm just going to show you as well, and we can stay using these 5 stocks as an example. Also, you will notice on the screen is we have a customized columns tab. So what this tells us is we have these particular headings, so ASX code, company name, sector, and so on. But if we wanted to export maybe some additional data on our stocks, where can we do that? So everyone wants tailored, bespoke reporting. If you click on Customize, it will give you a table that has additional information here. So these are obviously default, your last price, market cap, and these 2 forecasts. I now want to add in, let's put in some gearing, some returns, so 1, 3, 6, and 12, some beta, revenue, and franking. Just click off that screen. Push these arrows back as well, just so to make it a little bit clearer. And now you can see, so from, I think it was from forecast, I've now added all these additional attributes for my stocks, so giving you greater information there to export. Okay, and you will notice throughout the site, we have these quick links to export to Excel or also to export to Word. Okay, so that's how you go about customizing what you want to export data-wise. Also, if you don't type in the either company name or the stocks, the ASX 200, you can filter through here. I'm just going to clear this section. You can filter through these different options as you move along. So you could just look for stocks that are approved, whether you want an income profile, whether you want that to be attractive income and low growth or so on. You can have different variables. You want your action signal maybe to be undervalued. You only want stocks that are in a particular sector. So you just want maybe healthcare, something like that. Let's just go attractive income, low growth, fairly valued, and healthcare. So what we can do now is just click on the magnifying glass just to see the results. Hopefully we get some results now. Okay, so we've got none here. Maybe I'm being too generous with my selections. If I take any, and if I don't restrict my sector, okay, so I have 16 products that fall into attractive income, low growth, and fairly valued. Now I just want to facilitate, or should I say limit these further, and I just want real estate. Click search again, and your search will now be narrowed down to be a lot smaller. So here I have 8 products that fall within all of these categories that I want to choose. And again, I could store those in a group. I could select all, create a product group, give it a name, call it, you know, attractive income, low growth, fairly valued, real estate, and I know exactly what I'm getting. So that's how easy it is to create your product groups. And obviously drill down using these sectors. We've also touched on your product groups, so retrieving them, they will always be in here. And your sort order, so that's just obviously on your screen if you wanted to change that. But you can also, if I go back to do a search here, if I just go low income, maybe attractive growth, click search to see what I get. So I have 42 products, and if I wanted to group those together, so I can always click on some of these headers here. So if I click the sector, it just puts those alphabetically together for me. So we've consumer discretionary first, consumer staples, energy. So just makes it a little bit neater and groups together those that are in a similar sector. And again, it works in the same way as well if the rating was approved or not approved. But in this case, they were actually the rating is slightly different. So we have some of these are under review because we didn't click on a rating. So if I just want the approved ones, and now if I want to see the ones here that are not approved, we have 1 not approved and 2 that are under review. So you can click on those just to change them around the display and group those together. Also, as we move across here, so we touched on stock viewpoint. Sorry, I just have to, that's just an example of you have to have something selected in order to move across the different tabs. So we've touched on stock viewpoint, that when you click here, it displays on screen and you can download in bulk. We also break down your, I guess, the data that's in stock viewpoint. The profile is here, the key financial metrics, which are your charts. We also monitor the rating history. So we know that this particular CIMIC group is approved since the 30th of April 2015. And action signal history. So these are obviously just related to the 2 stocks that I've chosen and when the action signal has changed and the date. Okay, so it was overvalued in September on the 26th, and then it was fairly valued on the 27th. So they're very dynamic pricing, and it's always kept up to date with the latest pricing. We also have a tab then on rating changes. So this is for the entire ASX. We have a rating history, income and growth profile history, and action signal. Maybe I was in that one. Sorry, rating history, the income and growth profile history, with your previous profile dates and the current date, and then action signal history. Okay. We also produce a corporate action journal, and if you do receive, so if you have an equity subscription and you do receive the AM bulletin, which is around 10:30 in the mornings, you will get a link just to give you an update on the ASX 200 and to do with if there's any corporate actions, there will be a link. So any corporate actions that have occurred will be displayed in here. So you'll be able to see Lister Text Medical, share price, the type of corporate action, so that's the scheme of arrangement. Offer price, our Lonsec comments, so this is like our opinion. Our recommendations, so this is vote in favour of the scheme. And the indicative dates. So anyone as well, and this Transurban group as well, this has been quite topical, so this is where the corporate actions will sit. The investment outlook report then. So this is our flagship publication report. It's quite lengthy, it's about 60 odd pages, so one for your leisure. There is also a direct equities piece in here, so you can jump straight into that if you just want to scroll through the contents and just go to the equities piece in there. And then finally, as we mentioned earlier, the research methodology will always be here if you ever need to revert back to it, just in relation to our approach with the Lonsec direct equities research. That's everything in our equities. I'm just going to quickly touch on the listed income, so our hybrid research that we also provide some research on as well. So again, you'll know you're in your listed income by just scrolling down to listed income, which sits under equities, and it's themed with like a champagne colouring. But again, it's laid out in the very same way just to make it easier for clients for navigation. You have your search here with your different filters, and you have your display screen here. So our entire universe, not too large. There's 47 products in here. So if I just wanted to, so I could type in AMP, and it would be a word search. So wherever I see AMP on a listed income, it's just to give me two. So I have AMP capital notes and AMP subordinate notes. Here you have your headings all across here, and you'll see your quick links to all of your research reports as you would with managed funds and stocks. You can always type in the identifier. So I don't know if I actually remember this particular one. Or you can type in, so if I just wanted one particular one, so I wanted this AGL, I can type in this partial ASX code as I've provided, and I just want that one particular hybrid. Click on here, so this is my listed income viewpoint, and it's a 2-page report, again, really comprehensive information and insights in here as well. So that's your listed income report. Again, I'm just going to tick here, and once I have this ticked, I can move across these different tabs across here. So we also provide a yield table. Again, this is similar to our customized columns, I guess. I can add some more information, and you'll see these are being added dynamically as we tick on these. Just click back here, and you can always push this arrow back to see it a little bit clearer. So I've added some more information on here. Lonsec also produces weekly a yield report. So again, you might want to zoom in for this one, but this is a listed income investments weekly yield report, very useful as well. We also monitor, as we do with stocks, any rating changes. We have upcoming distributions. We populate some charts, yield and maturity by risk rating. And we also produce, our equities team also produce a quarterly journal. So this is our listed income investment journal, so for the September quarter. So some more insight in here, and you can see the table of contents. So the market outlook, yield and maturity, the preferred investments, and so on. And again, we also have a research methodology, as we do with our equities and our managed funds. Again, you can also drill down further on the left-hand side. So you can filter through your sector, your rating, risk assessment, issue type, distribution, the frequency, cash yield, and so on. We also have as well, if you wanted to, and I'm sure I have a product group in here. So I'm just going to refresh the page. So I've ticked on that AGL, but if I wanted to group these 5 together, so you can see my selected is 5. I've researched is at 47, but my selected is at 5, and I want to pop those in a product group. I'm going to research these quite frequently. Create product group, give it a name, and click create, as you would with managed funds and stocks. And then if you wanted to retrieve your group, down here again to product group, click into the white space, and here I have just 2 groups that have previously been created. So if I click on this, click search. Let me just clear that. I'll just refresh that again. So this is my listed income account number 2, and I obviously had 7 listed income investments in here. Okay, and again, you will notice the quick links to export your data to Excel, to Word, or export your viewpoint report as well, as you would do with your stocks. And again, once you click on, if I click on 4 of those, I can see my workbench now has 6. So I've only ticked 4 listed incomes, so I can see those 4. However, I had previously ticked 2 equities that I was researching, so they fall under separate tabs, but I can see I was looking at these 2 equities and these 4. So it's just a quick way of using the workbench of what you've ticked, and you can also add in funds as well. And again, you can use these features to, you could save a product group with those 6, or you can download your stock viewpoint for your equities and your listed income viewpoint for your hybrids. And always remember just to clear your workbench as well. Okay, that's probably everything I'm going to go through today. As I say, it's a quick session just with the equities and listed income offering. Once you are familiar with iRate, it becomes very easy for navigation purposes. If you do have any questions, I'm going to leave our 1300 number just up on screen, and the support. We have a fully dedicated iRate team who will be happy to help if you do have any questions. Thank you very much for your time today. I really hope you gained some benefit from the session, and if you have any questions, I'll take them from you now. So thank you very much.